Today we're going to talk about more new secrets of muscle growth, therapeutic, cosmetic, and volumetric for men. All of this follows specific rules for muscle growth. Why is it that when you work out at the gym, you don't get results? Women don't get real fast, amazing benefits, and men end up having to inject themselves with hormones. I mean, injecting hormones and all that, we don't want anyone to do that, because eventually they have to inject either steroids or whatever, and most of them end up doing just that. He's like a sieve, like a tea strainer. Everything just drains right through because they inject hormones to make muscles bigger, to get a certain look. But is that real strength? Is that man actually athletic? Definitely not. It's a big tragedy, and no one should ever want that. It doesn't give real strength, usually not even a nice shape, and in the end it causes problems that are unmanly. Even those who work out to treat spinal issues or joint problems don't get any benefit. The answer and explanation are long, but today we'll take a simple yet magical part we discovered in this sport. Every muscle has a different personality from the next. For example, as we saw in a previous episode, some muscles need more reps to grow more than others, and some recover faster between sets in a workout. Alright, folks, some muscles will grow much more quickly than others, and within the same muscle group, certain muscles will recover far faster between each set than their counterparts. Every single muscle has its own distinct personality after all. But today, we're going to break down exactly how you need to build and structure your workout routines around the specific anatomy of each muscle group to get the best results possible. Not the anatomy from bodybuilding magazines. Those aren't real science at all. What's out there now is just popular, embarrassing stuff that has nothing to do with actual science. Why don't you use and study real muscle anatomy to build your workouts and training system? For example, anatomically, some muscles have longer tendons than others. Each muscle, as we said, is attached to bones at two ends. These are called muscle tendons, which usually connect to specific areas, but some muscles go beyond those areas. These two ends are the muscle tendons, which usually attach to bones in specific areas, but some muscles go beyond those areas. Let's use front thigh muscles as an example. If you want to train them, stick to standard contraction and extension moves, starting from the muscle's origin. Take bench presses. Chest contraction and extension is a bending movement where you contract the chest from its extended state. Muscles don't just contract and extend. Bending is essential. My hands stay bent like an M instead of fully open. Now let's do front thigh exercises at the multiple angles shown here. This area, the exercise that trains this area, is different from the one that trains that area. It doesn't focus on this area, so you need enough satisfying exercises to cover all muscle angles. Look at the ends, how the muscle attaches to the bones from this end, which is near the knee joint. As you know, compare it to other muscles. This end is longer. What's the difference between them? What's the difference in extension when it extends more? What does that mean? Let's see what science says. When it's involved, what's the difference? When you do extension and bending exercises for these muscles, only the general area of the muscle moves, not even the upper ends. So it's hard to get full movement and give it the attention it deserves. Why? Because as you notice, it's not just it's longer and has a curve with more twisting. This makes regular exercises harder. It's enough for the exercise to reach and maximize development of all areas and points of the muscle. Even this area is hard to target with classic regular exercises. Our classic isn't your classic. What you know is all fast-paced, but we're practicing our classic bend and extend exercises. Even those angles aren't enough to reach and develop this area. When we target this area, it's not like you might think having a small muscle here and that's it. No, when you develop the muscle from all its points, this area which is usually dead in most bodybuilders, will inflate and push the other main parts of the muscle, turning it into a solid block, fully filled out and beautiful all over. This is a very precise topic, and there are more benefits. You need to strengthen all parts of the muscle, because if there's an unstrengthened part, it becomes a weak point for you. How? For example, classic bodybuilders who take hormones and think they're doing sports, they do incomplete movements. They hold weights and do this, saying they're working the muscles, instead of doing full extension and contraction. So this area becomes weak. A person might get injured in this area during a fight, lifting weights at home in a certain angle, helping their wife or family. Even with huge muscles in a certain angle, they get injured. Why? Because it's a weak point. You never trained it properly. So you got very big, but your muscles grew unbalanced, leading to a weak point, prone to accidents or problems. Like someone who never went to the gym or trained. They hold weights and do this, saying they're working the muscles instead of full extension and contraction. So this area becomes weak. A person might get injured in this area during a fight, lifting weights at home in a certain angle, helping their wife or family. Even with huge muscles in a certain angle, they get injured. Why? Because it's a weak point. You never trained it properly. So you got very big, but your muscles grew unbalanced, leading to a weak point that's vulnerable to accidents or problems. Like someone who never went to the gym or trained in their life, because you always give it incomplete movements. So if we have this thing we talked about, it helps with protection. When you train the muscle fully, including its tendons and all angles, you get a powerful muscle, a very strong muscle. This is important. What can we do? For example, this muscle needs an extra exercise for flexion and extension, plus the leg press, like a curved exercise. How? Instead of pushing the legs in this extension and bending way, you fix the thigh and do a curved movement. This curved movement targets the muscle ends, only moving the knee end, not the hip. Do it while standing. We'll cover this in a special episode, but it's about curved, not straight movements. This applies to some muscles. Add curved exercises on specific days instead of straight flexion extension ones. This makes the muscle more beautiful, fuller, denser, no gaps, bigger, stronger and more protective. Now, which muscles have extra extensions and need curved movements? Let's look at the back and front of the hands. Take the front of the hands. This image shows the muscle heads. One head is longer than the other, extending beyond the usual range. So you need a curved exercise to make it move and grow, even to support the biceps. Most athletes have short biceps unless they take hormones and joke about it. If you train naturally, your biceps are short in the lower part, so you need to support it. Growing it from the top with this curved movement pushes it to accumulate at the bottom. There are multiple exercises for this, but one key is the curved movement. Anatomically, it has an extra extension. Let's take another example, the rear delts. Notice this area, this long head we mentioned, connects to the back. See where it stops and how far it extends. The biggest issue is it's curved. Straight flexion extension barely moves it. The fibers need exercises aligned with them. These lines are vertical and parallel, like columns on the ground. So an exercise like pulling a bar from top to bottom, keep the muscle vertical to the ground and move your arm in flexion, extension. Let me break this down for you. It doesn't matter if your arm is extended or bent, whether your arms are positioned out in front of your body holding dumbbells or behind your back working with a cable machine pulling the cable down from an overhead anchor point. As you move the weight through the full motion, the single most important rule to follow is that the muscle needs to stay perfectly vertical relative to the ground. Now, you might be asking, why exactly is that the critical detail here? Well, It all comes down to the way the muscle's fibers are arranged. Just like what we observed in the earlier segment of the video, these so-called divine, miraculous muscles inside our bodies function just like incredible high-performance engine factories, churning out the steady power we need for every single one of our daily movements. You can do movements against the muscle's direction. It won't support weight or grow. When it's curved, use an exercise aligned with it. If it's vertical to the ground, your muscle should stay vertical through the exercise. If not, you need another exercise, otherwise it won't move or grow with classic exercises. So what do? A curved exercise? What's that? Fix the muscle and arm so they don't extend. Keep them fixed. What moves then? A fixed, curved movement, like the leg example we talked about. The leg stays fixed. You move back and forth without extending. This targets the area, making the muscle denser, filling gaps, and completing growth in the lower part. You see, right now you are only training your upper body, but you are neglecting that lower area. That awkward, unsightly gap that nearly every natural athlete struggles with because they do not take steroid hormones. We are here to teach you the proper, evidence-backed, correct science so you can build an impressive physique, completely without relying on steroids. You will become far stronger than you are now, look more attractive than ever before, stay 100% natural and perfectly healthy. Do not risk developing cancer, sexual weakness, or a never-ending list of other terrible health issues by taking performance-enhancing steroid hormones. Most people don't benefit from biceps anatomy because muscle science didn't exist before bodybuilding became a sport. If it's a bodybuilding concept, you, as a trainer, or someone creating movements, must understand anatomy and its applications. Today, you get curved movements. We'll explain curved exercises in detail later. You now know why you shouldn't follow blind traditions or unproven info. You understand the why behind it all. Theory won't help unless you see it in practice. Try it and have conclusive proof of its validity. First comes experimentation, because today, experimentation is the greatest scientific proof in the world of science.